topic for today is how to maintain a positive attitude and sense of control. Positive attitude and sense of control. Let's start with the sense of control. How many of you really feel empowered and have a sense of control over your life with Parkinson's disease as a sensational senior? Rick, that a boy. You have a sense of control. Connie, number 2. I have 35 people in this room. All right, I'm missing 33. What does a sense of control give to you? Peace of mind. All right. How did you feel when you were told that you have Parkinson's disease? A lot of people don't realize the media, usually it's a subconscious response to it. Pete says pretty bad. You know, this is not a pretty perky disease, is it? This is a tough one. And through my eyes, it's probably the toughest one out there. Why?
Because you have it for so long.
You have it for so long.
The rest of your life.
The rest of your life, am I right? It doesn't take a holiday. It doesn't go away. It doesn't get better.
It gets worse.
It gets worse. So how's that make you feel? Positive? Happy?
No.
Empowered? No. The disease is working against the human spirit, truth be told. The other thing too about the disease is it affects every impact of your life. It impacts every single component of your life. And I know we have friends here today, and I'm very privileged that they're here because they're coming to learn more about Parkinson's disease. So I am going to incorporate some of the basics of Parkinson's disease that I think warrants reminding review with you, because you really cannot live with this disease unless you understand it. Am I right?
Right.
You have to see it. You have to envision it. You have to know it. You have to know what it's going to do. You know, it has to know how it's going to act. You have to know how to deal with it and how to treat it. Otherwise, it's going to run you over like a train. You agree with me?
Yep.
Or no stopping it. It's progressive. It's degenerative. All right, what does that mean? I don't like that word, worse. And I always put it this way, because I try to not sugarcoat, but try to make a positive note of it. When anything is progressive, you know, it's moving forward. It's like you use the analogy, you know, when the wave comes into the beach and every time it goes out, it takes a little more sand with it.
Right.
Okay. The lay language for this is, it's safe to say that, you know, when you go to bed at night, you're going to be a little bit more symptomatic when you wake up. You're going to have more loss of the dopamine. Do you understand what I'm saying? So your goal with living well with this disease is to go on maintenance, prevention, intervention, that you're holding it at bay. So it affects you physically. The simple thing with Parkinson's disease, it's a simple loss of dopamine, right? And dopamine is responsible for your ability to do slow, controlled, regulated, patterned movement. You hear me? I'm able to go like this, am I not? I'm able to go like this, am I not? Okay, what does the doc say the first time you go to the neurologist thinking you might have Parkinson's? Touch your nose. Touch your nose, but for many you can't do it. Touch your nose every day. All together we touch our nose. Go, 1, 2, 3, touch your nose. Great, okay. Or he'll go like this. Okay, your ability to go like this. But when you have lost the cells in the brain that lose dopamine, that's what causes the tremor and all the other motor symptoms for Parkinson's disease, right? The tremor. This is why we supplement you, like we give you supplemental vitamins. We give you supplemental dopamine in the form of cinnamon. How many of you take cinema? Okay, that's your replacement for what your brain isn't making naturally for you. Okay? 4 benchmark, how does it affect you physically? You look at the physical, the 4 benchmark symptoms of Parkinson's disease. Now you have to understand, and I want you to know this, and don't ever forget it. It's why you may never compare yourself to another Parkinson patient. Why is that? Who knows the answer to that? Why may you never, ever, ever compare yourself to another Parkinson patient? I don't care if you're the same age, the same sex, both with blonde hair and blue eyes, or both bald with brown eyes. No two are the same.
Everyone's different.
Every single Parkinson patient is different. It's why we can't cookie cut a care plan. It's why I can't say to you, okay, I can't even stage you. Now, many of the other diseases that we deal with, like cancer, you can stage it. You can say, well, this is how you are today, and I'm pretty darn sure, my friends, that in 6 months, a year, 2 years, this is what we're probably going to be looking at if your treatment plan works, but not with Parkinson's disease. It does what it wants to do, and it affects every human being because you each have your own brain, and you each respond totally differently in your own way to medical management, right? How you respond to your medical treatment plan is different than your neighbor or me or anybody else. Do you understand that? So do not look around the room and say, oh, that's going to be me next month or next year. I don't want you to do that. All right? So it affects your physical function. The tremor keeps you from doing what? It's a pill rolling tremor. Usually starts with the hand one side. Okay? And the pill rolling tremor. This is a resting tremor. There are other tremors that you're calm when you're like this, essential tremor, you're calm when you're like this, but if I go to pick up a pen or my bottle of water, it's when I start this. You know, essential tremor? It's different. Parkinson's disease is a resting tremor. It gets in the way of what? Buttoning the buttons, eating, doing lots and lots of different things that you need dexterity and calm hand articulation, right? What else happens to you? Slowness. Have you ever noticed you're a little slower? Huh? What is so terribly wrong about being a little bit slower? The key is, as long as you get it done, as long as you get where you're going, am I right? It doesn't matter how much time it takes you. If it takes you 3 times longer to get dressed in the morning, that is okay. Just get yourself dressed, am I right? Designate enough time for you to complete the task at hand. Slow is fine, all right? Bradykinesia, the physician on the cruise actually called it akinesia, lack of movement, because lots of times you just quit. So when I go like this, or when I pick this up, or when I'm doing this, you're going like this. You notice? Picking up the fork. Why do you think it takes you so long to eat? Simple thing like hand to mouth. Okay? Alright? Rigidity. Your muscles get tight. Alright? They'll feel you in here. And if you clench your fist like that, deliberately, that's what the Parkinson patient is going on inside of them, and they're not controlling that consciously. It gets real tight and real rigid. Alright? And the next one is what we call postural instability. That means that your muscles are weak. Your muscles up here are weak. You're leaning forward. Why? Because all these muscles in here are tired and weak. Parkinson's disease affects the muscle. You got me? So what happens? You're leaning forward, the head's going down, right? The gait is different. The balance is down, right?
Right.
You're falling more. How many of you are falling? All right. Big concern for you. I always say I forbid you to fall. It's my, what does that mean? But I want you to do everything possible to avoid your falls, because great harm can come from falling down, all right? You're at high risk of falls. These are your physical symptoms. Harder to get out of the chair, right? Harder to get in and out of the car. Harder to do what we call your activities of daily living, basic things like getting your shower and grooming and brushing your hair and doing the dishes and throwing in a load of laundry. It's all impaired, isn't it? Everything. Physical. All right? What about mental? How can it affect you mentally? And I have always say, and I say it every time Dusty runs the tape over there, this disease affects the most extraordinary population of people that I have ever experienced in 50 years in healthcare. Everyone that is affected by this disease, no matter what their plan was in life or what their accomplishments were in life, they all did it extraordinarily well. They're all extraordinary people, and they're all wonderful at what they do, no matter how great or how small. You agree with that? What you did well with pride, all right? And you're extraordinary, so don't ever forget that. But what can it do to your mental status? Forgetfulness to start, all right? You have some memory loss, right? Short-term memory. You can tell me what you wore to kindergarten. You can tell me your first home that you bought, all right? You can tell me the name of your first child. But if I say, did you have Cheerios or pancakes for breakfast? Which did you have? I'm dying for pancakes in case anybody out there is interested. Somebody could just come in here and take me for pancakes. I can't get all my health freak peers to eat pancakes, but I got a grill now. One of my caregivers gave me a grill. I can fit probably 25 pancakes on it. It's common. I'm going to have a pancake breakfast. Let's do that. All right? Okay, baby. All right, but you have short-term memory loss. You also, have some cognitive issues. You can't do what I would call like a 3-step command. You know what I'm saying? I can't say to some of my Parkinson members, drink your orange juice, go get dressed, and meet me in the front door in 15 minutes, right? That would be a good day, wouldn't it? A real good day. It has to be short-term 1-step commands for many Parkinson patients that have lost some of the cognition and the executive function of decision-making. The other thing, too, sometimes the time perception can be off a little bit. You know what I mean by that? Like, yeah, if I say to myself, okay, it's 5 after 12, and I'm going to keep talking till 1:45, I have a pretty good idea of the timeline forecasting forward. Many Parkinson patients lose that fineness of time and space. Do you understand me? So you're better off to say, okay, honey, it's 9 o'clock. Please finish your orange juice now. I don't mean screaming now, but drink it. Please drink your juice now. You see what I'm saying? I'm giving them that in the moment, drink your orange juice. All right? And when they're finished, you say, okay, go on in now and get ready for Parkinson Place. Okay? And then at 20 after 9, you say, 20 after 9, we need now to be ready to get into the car to be ready for the 10 o'clock class. Do you hear what I'm doing? I'm nudging them, I'm guiding them through the timeline and allowing them to succeed at what you want them to do or what they need to do, but in a way that they can function on a better level. Have you tried that many times? Okay. All right. Memory loss, cognition, the ability to make decisions, make plans, sometimes that can be impacted as well. So there's your physical and there's your mental. What about emotionally? How does it affect you emotionally?
Depression is big.
Here it comes. Here comes the non-positive side of it. You know, what are the feelings? What do you feel when you have Parkinson's disease? If you want to be honest and truthful with yourself. And this is not only for the patient, but for the caregiver. Caregivers feel the same emotions because they love their loved one and they have an upfront and center view every day round the clock of what this disease is doing to you and how it's challenging you and changing you. So what are the emotions? An emotion is a what? A feeling, you know? What are the emotions that you feel with Parkinson's disease, patients and caregivers? You should be screaming them out.
Hopelessness.
Hopelessness. Oh my goodness, I hate that word. Hate.
Frustration.
Hopelessness. That word is not even in my vocabulary. You need to come back to that. Hold that thought, Mr. Blue Shirt. Hopelessness.
Frustration.
Frustration, number one answer. Why? You know the answer to this? Why is frustration so huge for folks living today, tomorrow, and for the rest of their life with Parkinson's disease? It's simple.
You're used to getting up and doing it.
You can't fix it. You're used to getting up and doing what you want and love to do. Bottom line for me is, and you know I tend to simplify to help you remember what I say, you're stuck with something you don't want or need or ask for, and there's nothing you can do about it. Is that not frustration to the human spirit?
Right.
I don't want this, Marilyn. Make it go away. Make it get better. Give me the weekend off. Can it happen? You're stuck with something. There's nothing you can do about it. What can you do about it? You know, I always try to teach, you know, nothing in life, no matter what the challenge, we cannot control what happens to us, can we? You cannot control our fate in life or the happenings from the time that you wake up in the morning till the time that you go to bed at night. And most often things in life you didn't trigger. You know, what I did to deserve this. You know, I'm behaving here today. Why do I have this challenge coming in here, all right? You cannot control what's planned for your day today from the outside forces of life. What do you control?
Your attitude about it.
What do you control? Think
What you do.
how you choose to respond to it. Here's where your positive attitude comes in. All right? You cannot control what's happening to you. You cannot control the disease. You cannot control life. But you control, as a competent human being, how you respond to adversities and to challenges. Now, how do you do that? You choose, I'm going to respond positively or negatively. You know, there's one thing about life, and I figure this along the way over the many, many years is, you know, the only time that you feel out of control, you know, people will say, I'm out of control. I have no control over my life. I have no control over my disease. And truth be told, I believe, because I've shared moments of diagnosis with many people over the years, and when they're told that they have a threatening disease or a challenging disease, all right? Truth be told, my belief is they have an instant underlying loss of control. Oh my gosh, what's going to happen now? What will happen to me? Will the treatment work? What do I do now? Where do I go? Who helps me? What will I be tomorrow? What will I be next year? It's a loss of control over managing your life the way that you think you should have the ability to do. Am I right? And it's an underlying fear of the unknown. It's an underlying, I basically don't know what to do now. I don't want it because I don't know what to do about it. Okay, so you have it, through my standpoint, you are in control if you have a choice, right?
Right.
Don't tell me you're not in control. If you have a choice of how you respond to whatever and everything that's happening to you that's really rattling your emotional cage. So you can say, I'm going to take a positive approach to this. And this is what I talked to you about when I want you to have the positive response to Parkinson's disease. You're going to stand up. You're going to be smarter and stronger than the disease. You're going to maintain a positive attitude. And you're going to reach out to all the fine people in your life and the fine resources in your life. You understand me? Because you can either take that attitude of empowerment, there's your Parkinson power, or you can just roll over or go what I call belly up in the recliner with your clicker, my life is over, oh woe is me. And there are people that do it. I've seen that. It's pitiful. It's pitiful. Your life is not over. Your life, as far as I'm concerned, you're the same extraordinary human being. You're wonderful. And I say to you every single week, what makes you wonderful, what makes you lovable, what makes you special, Parkinson's disease or no other disease can touch. You understand me? It can change maybe the way you look, or maybe the way that you talk, or maybe the things that you want to do or used to be good at. It can affect that, but it doesn't affect what makes you great. And I always encourage my caregivers to look inside, look deep inside your loved one, and always remember, no matter what the physical changes are with the disease, and there's plenty of physical changes, right? And some of them aren't real attractive and real appealing. They're very obvious. Parkinson's disease is very obvious, all right? But you look at what lies beneath, because your loved one is still in there. It's the same wonderful person, they just happen to have Parkinson's disease. Do you agree with me, caregivers?
Yes.
What?
Yes.
What?
Yes.
And the other thing I always encourage you to do is look behind the eyes of your loved one. If you have someone in your life that is there, cares, walks with you, cares about you, dedicates their life and their time and their efforts to you, care enough about you to help you and guide you and walk with you, you are truly blessed. But it's not easy for the caregivers, is it? No? Why is it not easy? Now I'm going back around of why I merged the patients and the caregivers. Because you patients, you need to realize that you don't have a one-way ticket to laziness and to apathy and depression, and you're all set for wait staff and concierge and all that kind of stuff. You ain't getting that card. Might as well forget it. All right? You are partners with your caregiver, caregiving partners. You need to encourage them and love on them and help them in every way. Parkinson patients, you need to be doing absolutely everything you can do for yourself. There's your sense of control coming back around again. It's been proven by me. I'm starting to think about a book. It'll probably take me the rest of my life to write it. But I think I'm going to do it. Huh?
That's good.
Uh-huh. It is good.
I'll buy it.
You buy it? I haven't even got the title yet, so don't stress me.
Isn't it power?
Come up with that after it's written.
Parkinson Power, yeah, I could do. Well, I'm going to do a resource guide, I think, or I'm going to actually have my caregivers do it because they've got nothing to do, and I do. So I'm going to have them do all my extra jobs, because they love me so much. But what I'm simply saying is that the more that you do for yourself, the more under control you will feel. And the loss of control that comes with Parkinson's disease comes with the need to be more dependent, right? It's the real pain, the heartbreak for both the patient and the caregiver, with the need to become more dependent. You lose your functional ability or your mental ability, so that you have to reach out and depend on people in your life, your caregiver, your loved one, your best friends, your family, to help you. All right? How does that make you feel?
Oh.
Yeah, because it's human nature. Esteem, dignity comes from ability to do and to succeed. Am I right so far?
Right.
Your ability to do the simplest thing initiates in you a sense of pride, a sense of fulfillment. I can do it. Look at me. Even the simplest thing. And what happens is with Parkinson's disease, because of the functional loss and the mental loss, you have to reach out and say, I can't do it by myself anymore. I need you. What does that do to your esteem?
Pulls it down.
Pulls it down, doesn't it? Because we are taught in the American culture and everywhere else in the world, you know, do it and do it well. Do it all and do it well. Am I right? Multitask. Do it in a hurry. Do it well. Do it independently. The faster the child walks, the faster the child talks. They tie the shoes. Oh my gosh, my last granddaughter tied her shoes. I mean, I just thought fireworks were going to go off the entire state of Florida. My daughter was thrilled. And I'm thinking to myself, but it was huge to that mother. Tie her shoes. And now, that's the way we're groomed in America and in every other country. So how must it feel for a dignified, accomplished senior to have lost the ability to tie their shoes because their dexterity in their hands doesn't work anymore? The simple things in life that so many people take for granted. Buttoning a button, tying a shoe, cutting your piece of chicken, right?
That's why they invented Velcro.
That's why there's Velcro. Isn't that something else?
That's right.
It sticks to everything.
Yeah.
What was I Velcro? It was sticking to my pants. It was sticking to everything. I was like, it sticks to everything, right?
Yeah.
And Velcro is a great thing when I talk to you about finding shoes and garments, right, that you can put on and off yourself easily. You know, I will share with you, I've got a blouse in my closet. I look at it and I love it. It's got 25 buttons and they're all the size of peas. It'll probably hang there for the rest of my life because I can't handle that trauma at 6 o'clock in the morning. You know, I think I might donate it so, you know, I can take the pressure off of me. See what I'm saying? So make it as easy as possible. Put on garments. You want to set yourself up for success. Because what happens when you succeed at anything? You feel good. And you bring yourself up. I mean, I'll tell you, Gary, I was so happy, 2 weeks ago? I have not seen Gary out of a wheelchair in a very, very long time. You know? He cruised with me the whole time in a wheelchair, right, babe? The whole time. I think he started to dance. Did he dance with you?
No.
Uh-oh. I'm bragging on 100% of my people dance. Now you're doing 2 dances next year. Did you hear he said, okay, I terrify him. And 2 weeks ago, he walked in here, standing up. And the look in his eye for me was breathtaking. Because he's been doing his exercises, he's been working. He stood and he walked. Didn't you feel like $1 million?
Yep.
He did. He was like beaming. Look at me, Ma.
Yeah.
Right? So you want to set yourself up for success. You want to work every single day at doing your best and being your best. Because you can have a wonderful, beautiful life with this disease. And you have to buy into that and you have to try. The emotions are difficult. Depression kicks in. Depression is a big part of Parkinson's disease, all right? And then you have all the other glamorous autonomic symptoms, like what? Let's talk about these a little, this is for you. All right, the masked face. Why we call it the masked face? I hate that word. It's like the mask that's hanging in my office. She never changes. I just hate her. She looks the same every time I look at her. Yeah, she's ceramic. But the masked face, why? Because what happens? The muscles become weak or rigid, okay? So you don't smile as much. It's easier to tell how someone's feeling when you look at their face. What emotion are they feeling? Are they smiling? You know? They look happy, joyful, or not. The other thing with the Parkinson patients, they blink once or twice a minute, and I blink 20 times a minute. So they can tend to look despondent or apathetic, but they're not. So this is one thing that's very, very important for all of us to realize, that you cannot automatically assume by the look on a Parkinson person's face that that's how they're feeling. Do you hear me? Do you hear me? You cannot assume. In the first place, you can never ever assume, I don't think, to know what someone else is feeling. Do you all agree with me? And I don't care if some of you have been together for 40, 50, 60 years. You don't know what your mate is thinking necessarily. The only way to confirm how someone else is thinking is what? To listen and ask them and hear them. Now this is another component that we have trouble with in Parkinson's, because the speech and the swallowing muscles, what? They weaken, they can get rigid. Articulation, speech is tough. Muscle, what is the tongue? What is the jaw? What is the swallowing mechanism? Muscle. So it becomes harder and harder for them to articulate. What is the breathing? What helps us breathe and bring the volume up so I can hear you, or I can hear myself, whatever.
Breath.
The breathing coming from your diaphragm. What you breathe is a what? It's a muscle, okay? So speech becomes quiet, all right? Articulation, the words, it's harder to get out. And then on top of that, it takes a mental energy to think and to communicate. There's a lot going against you, right? And I'm saying, tell each other how you're feeling. Tell each other your wants and your needs and your concerns. Tell each other the good stuff as well. And you have three things right there working against you. I always say, talk when no one wants to listen. I do it all day long. Talk up, speak. And the other thing too, both patient and caregivers, my patients, if you're realizing that your loved one, your caregiver, your husband, your wife, your family member, your friend seems to be struggling emotionally, open your mouth and say, you know what, you appear to be down today, or you appear to be overtired today, talk to me. What are you feeling? Do you hear how I'm opening the door? And that's what we call assertive communication. You always want to ask a question to open up a dialogue that someone has to answer you at least in one sentence, not one word. If I say to you, David, how you doing today?
Feeling good.
Okay, just say fine. Okay, David, how you doing? David, I'm never asking you another question. It's being taped. Okay, I'm going to change something. You go to the doctor, and the doctor will walk in and say, how you doing today? And what's your answer?
Great.
Fine. You might as well pick up your purse and go. What'd you tell me? Nothing.
Kids always, your kids always answer that way. How
Yeah.
was school today? Fine.
Fine. Just leave me alone, grandmother. I don't want to talk about it. I've lived through it. I don't want to discuss it anymore. You have homework? No. Okay, but you want to open up something that stimulates a thought process in the ability to bring up feelings and get from, that's what communication is. Talking is just running your mouth is moving, sharing information, my mouth is moving, I'm communicating to you, not necessarily, I'm educating you, but I'm not telling you anything that I don't want to tell you. Okay, but the ability for me to get inside, from what's inside of me, up and out, and inside of you, accurately and appropriately, that is communication. You understand me? Sharing feelings, thoughts, wants, needs in words. Now, the other thing that's terrific about life that I personally love is nonverbal communication. What is nonverbal communication? My favorite. Nonverbal communication. Sometimes in life, it's better to say nothing. Because we all know that the goal of a relationship and the goal of a patient-caregiver relationship is to maintain the positivity of it. We don't want to make waves unnecessarily. Am I right? Because you want a nice sense of peace and balance in your home. You want a nice sense of respect and dignity in your relationship, what I call the positive patient-caregiver relationship. You want it to be nice. But there are times, friends, that you need to bring up and out things that need to be discussed, right? Because the lack of dealing with emotions when they happen, because like we talked before, these are all negative emotions. You know, if I'm feeling happy and joyful and content and grateful and everything, I can purge that to you in a second. I feel terrific. I'm so happy today. Yak, yak, yak. But if I'm disturbed or upset or tormented or struggling, it takes more for me to get it up and out. But remember, for both patients and caregivers, you're loaded with emotions that are negative. And what happens every single time that you're feeling one of these negative emotions? Frustration, disappointment, fear, depression, anxiety, okay? You're packing them down, packing them down, packing them down. They're in there, but you're not doing anything about it, are you? Except stifling them, suppressing them. Is that healthy for you?
No.
What happens when you can't take anymore, when you can't hold anymore, what happens? You have a verbal explosion, just like a shaken bottle of soda, right?
Right.
But if you take the cap off a little at a time, then it fizzes, 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 right? And fizzy, 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 right? And you open it without a muss. It's the same thing with your emotions. If you have something tormenting you, you're struggling with, that you need to communicate to your partner, to someone that you can trust with your feelings, I strongly recommend you do it. Don't hold it. Set a time and say, you know what, I just need to talk to you about something. All right? Find a time, set it up, do it in a respectful, dignified manner. No human being has the right to speak cruelly or disrespectful to another. Do you agree with me? Now, I know a lot of times, because we're human beings, we can rage. We get tired. We get burnt out. We get angry, right? And it comes up from your toes. You get mad. You know? You just want to take a whack at them. But you don't want to do that, because then you lose the ability to communicate. And the other thing that you do is, your partner's in love. Your partners, you're committed to each other as you walk the Parkinson Road. Your goal is to promote happiness and positivity and pride in your loved one, right? Your goal is to keep them up here. And you caregivers, the best thing you can do for yourself is to keep your loved one up here, promoting their independence, promoting their positive sense of self, promoting their ability to achieve whatever they can do on that day. And if you verbally, that is verbal abuse, holler and scream and negate, all right, you're taking them from here to here, right?
Yeah.
You're hurting them.
Yeah. Right.
And they're already hurting enough. You hear me with that?
Yeah.
They're already hurting enough. And what you do when you wound someone emotionally, that sticks and stones. I never really got that sticks and stones when I was in elementary school. I was like, a lot of those things I never got till I was like 40 years old. I didn't get it. Sticks and stones will break my bone. How's it go?
This is all the break your bones, but names will never hurt you.
Words will never hurt you. Words will never hurt you.
So does that make sense to you?
No, it doesn't make sense.
It's dumb. What hurts more than words? Because people care what other people say to them. It's just a human spiritual response that we have, right? So if you come to me and say, you know what, and my favorite words are, I'm proud of you. You want to promote someone, you want to keep each other up. I'm proud of you. You see, you have your loved one that says, you know, I'm so discouraged. I'm giving up. You know, I counseled somebody yesterday, and he just said to me, it's futile. You know, why try, man? Why try? And what do you think my response was? Because your life matters, and because I care about you, and because I'm proud of what you do to do as much as you can for today. All right? But your goal is to promote up. I am proud of you is the greatest statement that you can make to anybody, short of I love you, but I think we say that a lot. I'm proud of you. When you say to somebody, I'm proud of you, what it really means through my eyes is you're noting that they're struggling. You're noting that they're not doing as well as they could be. You're noting that it is hurting them that they can't do it. And you're giving them a positive affirmation that their best is good enough. You hear me? And it'll get you right through the moment of boosting them up when you see them struggling. I will tell you, patients, there's nothing worse for a caregiver than to see you struggle. To see you struggle doing simple things. Sometimes struggling and sometimes failing at doing simple things. It's heartbreaking for people that love you to see that. All right? So always remember, I'm proud of you. You want to promote someone. You want to offer help only when asked. We clear on this one? Only when asked. Don't you jump in there, because always remember, when you're caregiving for a Parkinson loved one, this is a grown, independent, dignified, successful human being. All right? There's not a child. We care for an infant. We care for a 2-year-old. Why? Because they haven't learned to feed themselves, and they haven't learned to potty train, and they haven't learned to tie their shoes, right? So you help them and you teach them to learn that task. It's different now because you're dealing with someone that's has accomplished and independent, and now needs assistance doing things that they did easily as a child. So you say, you know what? Don't jump in and say, you know, sit back, let me dress you. Right? Or, here's your breakfast, just sit down and eat it. What am I doing wrong there? What am I doing wrong there as a caregiver?
You're verbally flagging them.
Yeah. You want to say, okay, we're going to Parkinson Place, you want to wear the blue shirt or the brown shirt. What am I doing? Given a choice, therefore I'm giving them control. All right? You want to wear the loafers or your sneakers? They still call them sneakers, tennis shoes. I'm the only woman that you will ever know that does not own a pair of those tennis shoes. You believe that? I don't own them. Dusty's cackling over there, aren't you, Dusty? A little bit. Does every woman in this room have a pair of tennis shoes? You know those white ones like Joycey wears?
I don't.
You do? I know you do. You know, oh good, thank God. Miss Connie Cookie over there, thank you. I thought every woman in America has those shoes, you know, because they run and they walk and they work out. I don't do any of that stuff, so I don't need those shoes. So, or it's time for breakfast. And you say, honey, we're going to have breakfast. We're going to have a nice breakfast. It's Sunday morning. You know, would you like cranberry juice or orange juice this morning? See how nice that is? You got all 4 juices in the refrigerator. Instead of coming in and saying, I'm in a hurry, you're having prune juice for breakfast and you're going to love it.
And you need it.
Right? Give the choice. Because Parkinson patients have lost a great deal of control. Right? They've lost the control to do what they love to do and what they want to do. So everything that you do is to give them a sense of control, a sense of esteem. You know, don't go in there and start buttoning the shirt, and don't lunge across the dining room table and start cutting the meat, okay? You want to simply say, you know what, you look like you're having a little bit of trouble with that dinner plate. Would you like me to help you with that? Or if you see him struggling for 5 minutes, don't let it go for 25 minutes before you say, your fingers must be a little stiff or whatever. You know, well, how about if I give you a hand? So we don't miss the first 4 classes at Parkinson Power. Do it with a sense of awareness for the feelings of each other. I think that that's really what qualifies a wonderful relationship. And I think that it's important that you communicate what your needs are, because you know, if you're trying to take care of each other, patient and caregiver, family member, adult child, and I learned this in nursing for so many years, you cannot meet someone else's needs correctly and appropriately unless you really have identified what those needs are. Am I right? So you can say to somebody, well, what do you need from me, honey? Tell me, what do you need from me today? And don't be afraid to open your mouth and tell them. It's a lot easier. This is not a game. This is getting yourself happily through the day. You know, women say, he doesn't get me. He doesn't understand what I'm thinking. Stupid thinking. I say, did you tell me? No. You didn't tell him you want that diamond ring? Silly girl. What? See what I'm saying? Communicate. Communicate. All right. When it comes to being positive, your attitude's going to carry you anywhere you want to go, whether it's Parkinson's disease or anything else in life. It's going to help you with the many problems and the huge problems, is your attitude to stand up with a positive attitude, with a sense of empowerment, that I can do this, I will do this, I'm going to do this, right? No matter how thin you slice it, everything can be flipped over. So this has happened to you. Parkinson's disease is in your life. It's a reality. It's you, your loved one, and your Parkinson's disease. Because it's with you every minute of every day, isn't it? So you have to set your disposition when you wake up in the morning. I do it every day of my life. I wake up, even if I'm not really fully charged, even though I would just really love to take the day off, even though there's something bugging me. You know what I'm saying? You can get up and consciously set your disposition for the day. I choose to be positive. I choose to be happy, okay? I choose to be kind. I choose to be giving and forgiving. I choose. I set the disposition for myself. And then you start living it. And real soon, that disposition is going to be exactly who you are that day. As opposed to, I'm disgusted, I'm mad. When I get to work, somebody's head is going to roll, you know? Don't do that. And I have always learned, whatever you throw out into the world is exactly what comes back to smack you right in the face. Right?
Yes, I've heard that too.
I wasn't very ladylike, but I'm trying to get a point across. So if you go through the day with a smile on your face, right? And somebody's going to look at you and you're smiling. So what are they going to do? Smile back. You have someone not being nice to you, be nice to them. It really confuses them. Totally confuses them. You know, some people that, you know, do wait staff or that I've been working standing up for long hours as checking out or something like that. They're tired, they're miserable. But the minute you say, hi, how are you? How are you doing today? You might not even care. But it's well, you should care. If somebody else is waiting on you. You know, or somebody's serving you dinner, you know, thank you so much for serving me. I say it every time I eat out. Thank you so much for serving me this dinner. Right? Mm-hmm. It's a simple act that can boost another human spirit way, way up. Well, that's what you need to do during the course of the day. And you patience, I want you to, you know, stay on top of it. and say to your loved one, honey, or what can I do for you? What can I do for you today? Or you look tired to me today, I want you to take today off. You know? Go play bridge or go to the theater or go do what you want to do, I'll be fine. And either get in a family member or a friend or a personal caregiver. But pay attention to each other, right? And always, always utilize that nonverbal communication. I'm going to go back to that on a positive note. Because I always say when you're in a negative moment, and there's a lot of them when you're dealing with the challenges of caregiving and the challenges of living day after day after day, minute by minute with Parkinson's disease, am I right? So when you're in a negative minute, get out of it as fast as you can get out of it. Don't wallow in it. You see what I'm saying? Don't wallow in it. Get out of it with a positive note. All right? So don't pick on each other. Don't, if one is down, pull the other one up. If you don't want to get into a big dissertation verbally, which is exhausting, just exhausting. And you're going to forget what you're talking about by the time you're done talking about whatever you're talking about, right? So just give a hug, give a kiss, give a pat, hold hands. It's wonderful. Works like a charm, and it doesn't take any energy whatsoever. All right? Please, thank you, I love you, I appreciate you. Your goal is to be a team and to work together and to keep each other up and positive. Because always remember, the body will follow the mind. Know that? I've seen it so many times, people that are very, very, very sick. No hope of getting better. But their positive mind and their empowerment and their hope, all right, their hope, they do extremely well, right? You look at the chart and you're like, this person really should not even be with a pulse anymore. Where are they? They're planting geraniums or making cookies with the grandchildren. Do you see what I'm saying? The body, and vice versa. You can have people with nothing wrong with them, with a negative, sour grape. In Philly, we call it a sour puss. You ever seen them? They look like if they smile, their face would crack and fall on the floor. Right? They're out there. They're horrible, And it's these people, there's nothing wrong with them, but they're sick, and they're depressed, and they're discouraged, and they have no lust for life. Okay? So your positive attitude, I'm not saying that it's a cakewalk. I'm not saying that. And I'm not saying that there's times, moments, days that you're going to go down and that you're going to need a little time to rest and rejuvenate and replenish. Take those days. Just don't make it a lifestyle. I'll give you one day, I'll give you 2 tops. You clear? 2 tops. If you say, Mara, I'm just pooped, I'm tired, I'm trying to wrap my head around this, this and this happened, that's fine. Give yourself a healing time. Have yourself some private time. Eat your favorite food. All right? Indulge in what you love. For 1 day, 2 days. 3rd day, you get up, get right back on the horse. This is where your depression kicks in if you don't. Okay? So play the positive note every chance you get. Any questions about any of you? How many of you are positive? Don't ever use the word hopelessness, Pete. You know how much I love you.